Hi guys, my name is Alina Carter, and today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about the Mormon religion and their views on death, dying, and the next life. And the reason I chose the Mormon religion is because that's the religion that I was brought up in. So before we got started, I thought it would be good to just clarify what a Mormon is. A Mormon is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is also known as the LDS Church. So LDS, Mormon, it's the same thing, just by different names. And I also thought that before talking about death and dying, it would be helpful to understand the purpose of life from our point of view. We believe that we came to Earth with a few specific purposes, one of which was to gain a physical body, because we believe that we lived in heaven as spirits before this life. Second purpose was to prove to God that we would accept Him as our Father and accept Jesus Christ as our Savior, and to prove that we would be faithful and obey their commandments. We also believe that we are on this earth to have new experiences and to gain new skills and to learn different things so we can have the experience of having been on earth. And last but not least, we put a high emphasis on family, both in this life and in the life to come. When a Mormon dies, they are buried, typically in white clothes. Families are not usually encouraged to cremate the body, but it is acceptable for them to be organ donors. Funeral services are usually conducted by the bishop or the pastor of the congregation. Those funeral services can be held at the graveside, at a funeral parlor, or at the church building. The location isn't of great importance. The services are like most Christian funerals. There's hymns, there's a eulogy, there's a short sermon about life after death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And before they bury the person, they usually say a prayer over the grave site and bless it. After the funeral and such things are finished, everyone who was at the funeral goes back, usually to the church building, where all of the women in the congregation who weren't at the funeral have prepared a potluck lunch or dinner, just kind of as a way to help out, especially for any family or friends who might have traveled in from out of town to see the funeral. So I made a little chart outlining what happens after a person dies. Once they die, their soul goes to either a spiritual paradise or a spiritual prison. The paradise is where the souls of all of the good people go, where they can rest in peace and happiness until the end of the world. And spiritual prison is for those who were the unrighteous or those who never had a chance to accept Jesus Christ as their Savior. So while they're in the spiritual prison, they have the opportunity to learn of Christ and accept Him, and then they can move on to the spiritual paradise. At the end of the world, we believe that everyone will be resurrected, whether or not they were a good person or a bad person. We believe it's Jesus Christ's gift to everyone since He was resurrected. And after everyone is resurrected or their soul has been reunited with a perfect version of their body, then Jesus Christ judges us based on our works in this life, and we are assigned to one of three levels of heaven or hell. Obviously, the highest level of heaven is the one that everyone is shooting for, but all three are wonderful, and hell is reserved for the worst people who were intentionally cruel or evil. At the beginning, I mentioned that families are very important in the Mormon religion, both in this life and in the next life. So we believe that if a couple are married in a holy temple, that they are bound together forever. They promise to obey God's laws and to keep His commandments and keep the faith. And if they keep those promises that they made, then we believe that after death, families will be reunited and that they will never be taken apart again. So the Mormon outlook on death is kind of neutral. It's not something that we look forward to or celebrate necessarily, but it's not something that we believe you should fear or dread unless you haven't been living your life the way you know that you should. We believe that death marks the end of physical suffering and sorrow for people, so it's positive in that light, knowing that your loved one is safe now and free from everything that hurt them. But sometimes we feel a little bit of sadness for ourselves. We know that we are going to miss the people that we love, even though we know that through the resurrection of Jesus Christ we can all be reunited again. It's sad in the moment because we don't want to be separated from the ones that we love, even for a short time. So at death, we don't necessarily celebrate a person's passing, but it does bring a little bit of peace to know that they are now safe and that we will see them again if we can live a righteous life, and if they've lived a righteous life, that we can be reunited in the next life.